What's up, guys? This is Chad with Living the Van Life. Right now, I am deep in the Canadian Rockies up here in northern British Columbia in some wildly remote territory. I'd like to welcome you to part number 2 of this Return to the Arctic series as I make my second trip in my van up into the Arctic during this extreme winter. We're headed out across the Alaska Highway in reach of the deadly and treacherous Dalton Highway all the way to Prudhoe Bay, marking the farthest north that we can drive in all of North America. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to this adventure. Let's go see what we can get ourselves into as we get further and further north. Well, that was freaking cool. I was cruising down the highway here near Muncho Lake and noticed an object kind of off on the side of the road here in the deep snow. And as I drove by, all I could see was a couple of ears and a face in the snow. And I was able to turn around and drive back. It was still in its position, and I realized it was a Canadian lynx. As I pulled up, I was able to snap off a few photos as he kind of backed himself off into the trees. What's up, buddy? What you doing there, critter? What a cool experience to be able to see some wildlife out here. Upon further inspection, it looked like he had some roadkill. It looked like maybe a moose had been hit on the highway and he was maybe working on that for a snack. Nonetheless, cool opportunity to spot some wildlife out here. Once again, presented with an opportunity to see some wildlife here. These are some bison, and they are having to fight through the snow to get down to any bit of food that they can get in this deep snow. It's cold right now, but as you can tell by the amount of snow that's collected on their back, they have pretty good insulation. the Liard River Hot Springs. It's been a spot I've wanted to check out for a long time. Now's my opportunity. It's a bit of a walk back here into the woods, but supposed to be some really cool hot springs, and what a cool way to enjoy a winter scene when it is 6 degrees Fahrenheit outside, but we're sitting in some hot springs. Let's go check it out. How freaking cool is this? It is 6 degrees Fahrenheit, but here inside the pool it stays anywhere from 98 degrees up to 125 degrees year round, making for an awesome hot spring. And all of the steam that rises up off of the hot springs collects on the branches of the trees up above, and just such a cool winter scene way out here in the middle of nowhere. What a really cool experience to go out and enjoy the Liard River hot springs in a winter wonderland like that. Something about hot springs, the heat, the minerals, the scene, the experience, come out of there feeling quite invigorated for sure. The body is abuzz. Well, as much as I would love to continue to soak in these hot springs, I do need to make some time down the road towards the destination. So I'm gonna get a couple of more hours of driving in here this afternoon before we hunker down and call it a night. Onward we go. Of course, part of living on the road, producing content for the Living the Van Life YouTube channel is at the end of each day ingesting all of the footage from the drone, from the camera, from the GoPros, all onto the hard drive so everything is backed up, safe and secured. There's a lot of work that goes into creating this content and capturing it every single day, and heaven forbid something should happen to a camera, a drone gets crashed out over a river or across a lake and it's unattainable. So every day everything gets backed up to a hard drive. To be honest with you, when I'm out traveling solo on trips like this, I wear the same clothes every day. I eat the same foods every day. It makes things simple. It makes decisions in the morning for the day simple. There are other decisions to be made that are more important than what I'm going to wear or what I'm going to eat today. If I find a routine that I enjoy, I'll repeat it day in and day out till I fall out of that cycle. I've cut up some fresh ginger, some fresh turmeric, some fresh garlic, and then put half a teaspoon to a teaspoon in with the avocado and just mix it all up with a little bit of salt and seasoning, and that makes for a delicious breakfast. For this trip, it was important for me to eat healthy. It's easy to get off the rails on road trips. It's easy just to swing into gas stations and grab the junk food that's easily available. That does nothing good for the health, mentally, physically, etc. I would say that overall the whole idea is to keep things as simple as possible while you're out here on trips like this. The majority of your work and the majority of your day is spent traveling, keeping the van on the road, navigating the conditions, the terrain, etc. So when it comes down to meals and eating, the last thing that I wanted to do was have big meals that I needed to prep and prepare while out here on the road. Having the meals fully prepped and frozen here inside the freezer to where I can just steam them up in the Instant Pot, everything has been good. That way I can focus on the trip at hand. So far we are about 1,345 miles into the trip according to the Gaia GPS. Finally made it into the Yukon. According to Google Maps, the amount of miles that we have left to reach Deadhorse is 1,350. Turns out that Watson Lake is just about the halfway point as we head north. However, once we get to the top, the journey is only half done and we got to make our way back down out of the Arctic. Day number 5 on the road. We're going to be headed from Watson Lake to Whitehorse, Yukon. Got a bit of a trek across the Alcan Highway today. Gonna get the van put away, get things prepped up to hit the road. On my GPS here on my iPad, I'm just plugging in Whitehorse as the next destination. No matter where I'm at throughout my trek for the day, I know how many miles I've gone, I know how many miles I've got until my next destination, my next fuel stop, etc. You can never have too much information about where you are, where you're going, and how long you've got till you get there. If something were to go wrong, I want to know exactly how far I am from any sort of civilization. Having that knowledge is key to making treks out here through remote areas and always knowing where you're at. Just out here trucking along in the Yukon. The highway is just long, drawn out. For thousands of miles on this journey, it is compact snow and ice, and it is slippery. After my journey last year, I got quite a few questions about the tires that I use, if I used four-wheel drive, if I had studded snow tires, also if I use snow chains. I do not have studded snow tires, just the BFG KO2 all-terrain, which is rated for snow, and they do perform quite well. Snow chains would be just impossible to try and use on a trip like this, because your maximum speed on snow chains is going to be 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour, and it's just not feasible. If you plan to cover any sort of territory, driving 35 miles an hour for thousands of miles, you're going to be here for a long time. So no, I do not use snow chains on a drive like this. For the most part, I do not have it in four-wheel drive, and that is mostly just to conserve fuel, because there are often times where we go hundreds of miles between fuel stops. So for most of the miles here, I have been doing it in two-wheel drive just to conserve fuel. I've been averaging probably about 60 miles an hour. Mostly it's going with the flow of traffic and understanding how other people who are local to the area have learned how to drive in conditions like that and following their lead. You just have to be confident in what you're doing. You have to be confident in your vehicle. The highway is wide, it is smooth, there's no sudden sharp turns in most areas. Really truly is no big deal to do 60 miles an hour on compact snow and ice with the right tires. So I've just pulled off to the side of the highway here at a bit of a fork in the road, maybe an hour or so south of Whitehorse, and I started looking at the map and realized how close I am at this point in the game to the coastal Alaskan region. And it looks like a little bit of a detour in a scenic route that I could take that perhaps could elevate this whole entire trip tremendously. This is the part that I love about traveling solo, traveling in a van, where I've got everything with me on my back as I need it. It's all up to me. It's where I want to go. I think at this point I'm gonna go left instead of right, go see what this adventure brings on. So here's to solo road trips and van life. Let's go to Skagway, Alaska and see what that's all about. Because as I like to say, why not? It's a great way to live life.
You keep blowing me out, I keep holding you in. I keep asking myself, oh, why do you still hurt? Whoa.
Well, you can certainly tell we are starting to approach the coastal region the winds that are blowing in off of the ocean really seem to be picking up, and they are just whipping down through these canyons, and there's lots of blowing snow. As we approach the top of White Pass, the snow is deeper, therefore more and more blowing snow. This is absolutely insane. That snowplow that just passed, completely engulfed in snow. The visibility right now is extremely flat, damn near down to zero. All I can do is keep myself pointed between the poles that line each side of the road. Hello. It's a Sprinter van.
Sprinter van? What does that mean?
A Mercedes.
Where are the plates from?
Washington State.
Washington?
Yep. What's up? Just wanted to take a moment here in this video and talk about the Living the Van Life website, www.livingthevanlife.com. You guys are always curious about the gear and the equipment that I use here in these videos when I'm out on these adventures. What are those boots? What's that knife? What's that cutting board? I have a whole entire Amazon store of all the gear and equipment that I use here in the videos, so you guys can go on over to the website and check that out. But while you're over there, there is an online store of a whole bunch of Living the Van Life merchandise, like these hoodies. Guys, these hoodies are seriously one of my favorites. I'm always talking about how much I love these hoodies, which is true. They're so warm, they're so cozy, they keep you nice and warm. But not only that, we've got hats, we've got t-shirts, we've got sticker. It's got the old Vanagon on it, which is a crowd favorite. Everybody loves the old Vanagon. Also, got stickers with the Sprinter van. Showing it in action reminds me of what it's like taking the Sprinter van out into the desert, which is one of my favorite things to do. Also, this sticker right here, it reminds me of Baja. We do a lot of Baja racing lately, which is freaking super cool. But got the color scheme, we've got the cactus on there. It's a cool sticker. So if you guys are interested, go on over to the website, livingthevanlife.com. Check out the Amazon store, get yourself some merch. We've been shipping this stuff all over the globe, so thank you to all of you guys out there supporting the store. Much appreciated. With that being said, let's jump back into this adventure. We've got a trip to the Arctic to make. 36 hours over 5 days, 1,670 miles since I left Bellingham, Washington. I arrive on the Alaska coast here in Skagway, Alaska. It's cold, it's blustery, it's wild out here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Alaska. Having just crossed over White Pass with some extreme snowy whiteout conditions, to then drop down here to sea level and be taken back into time in this little gold rush town. It is so eerily quiet here on the streets. There's nothing but the sound of the wind blowing through the power lines, howling, the clanking of random stuff around town. So very surreal. Having veered 80 miles off my originally planned route, to my surprise, basically find myself in the middle of a ghost town, which, to be honest with you, is extremely intriguing to be able to come experience it. From what I gather, in the summertime, when all the cruise ships show up here in the inlet, this town is a hustle and a bustle. I find it intriguing being able to come here in an off season like this and see it, perhaps maybe not in its brightest moments. To be able to witness a town like this literally all to myself was very interesting. Back here in the late 1800s, this is where the mighty Klondike gold rush started, was right here. This was the port where everybody showed up on steamships and sailing ships from Seattle and Portland and eventually all over the world for the absolute craze of what became the Klondike Gold Rush. In the span from 1897 to 1899, over 100,000 men and women came from all over the world in hopes of making it big with the Klondike Gold Rush up in Dawson City. It's crazy how thousands and thousands of people died trying to climb Chilkoot Pass. The Golden Staircase, those infamous pictures of we see people climbing up in the crazy winter conditions. People were dying from exhaustion on the trail, lying at people's feet as they passed by on their way to the gold. It all started right here. It's just incredible the history that goes down in places like this. And then to be here, to have the whole entire place to myself. Definitely an eerie feeling, but also a wonderful treat. It's just what adventures are made of. And that's exactly why we're on this trip. That's part of taking a chance when you decide to take a left instead of a right.